So I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while now, and after putting it off for more than a year, I finally got to making it. And I want to talk about why I think TikTok and its consequences have been a disaster for the entire internet. Now, I know that this isn't an unpopular opinion at all. In fact, if you search up TikTok is ruining society or something, you'll find a lot of videos saying the exact same thing. But I still wanted to share my perspective on this, especially since as a YouTube channel owner, I could say that I'm affected by this a bit more than the average person. So first and foremost, what do I dislike about TikTok the most? If I were asked this question back when TikTok first started getting popular in the late 2010s, I, like many other people, would have said because it's cringe. But that's not my main concern anymore, and I don't think there's anyone today who considers TikTok a threat to society simply because it's cringe. Because remember back when furries were the most hated thing on the internet? People thought they were cringe, yes, but I don't remember anyone saying that fur affinity is society's biggest threat because of that. But with TikTok, the problem isn't even so much its content as it is, you probably guessed it, its format. So what exactly is wrong with the TikTok format? I'm gonna start with the technical reasons, or those which you don't need to be a psychologist to figure out. And the first such reason is that when you're using TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, parts of the video you're watching are always covered by UI, unless, at least on YouTube, you open the comment section, though this way the video becomes like 4 times smaller. You also can't double tap to fast forward, and while on a mobile phone vertical videos aren't too inconvenient to watch, since you could easily flip your screen, if you're on a computer, unless you have one of those monitors that can spin around, you can't flip your screen, so you're stuck watching a video that takes up less than a third of it. Now let's talk about the more subjective reasons. One such reason for me is that watching vertical videos doesn't feel as relaxing as watching horizontal ones, probably because whenever I hold my phone vertically, I'm always either texting someone, browsing the web, or working, whereas landscape mode is usually for entertainment like games and movies. So when I'm watching a vertical video on my phone, my brain still thinks that I'm working, if that makes sense. I don't know, that's just my hypothesis. But really, I'm not the only one who prefers horizontal video. On Reddit and elsewhere, you'll find a lot of people talking about how much they hate vertical videos. And it does make sense. After all, the human FOV is more wide than it is high. And if you haven't already, you'll probably notice that you don't look up and down as often as you look to your sides. So horizontal video just feels more natural, and while smartphone screens are vertical by default because they're easier to hold that way, there's a reason why even the very first iPhone had the ability to rotate its screen. Another problem is that short-form videos are, well, short, which means that even if you're the greatest content creator in the world, you only have 60 seconds to work with, which is very restricting, since you either have to talk more quickly or cut out parts of the video you would have otherwise shown. Now, the reason why I say TikTok ruined the internet isn't solely because it's an app with a layout I don't like. I mean, there are thousands of really crappy websites and apps out there, but I don't complain about them nearly as much because whatever is crappy about them simply doesn't spread to the rest of the internet, not in the way TikTok's format did at least. What's sad though is that society seems to have just accepted it. Whenever I go outside, I often see people scrolling through TikTok, Shorts, Reels. And it's not just Zoomers or Gen Alphas, I've seen literal boomers scrolling through TikTok as though they are 14. It seems like a lot of people are doing it just because they either can't sit still or want to take their minds off other stuff, which is fine I guess in moderation. But it feels like short-form content has become the Zoomer and Gen Alpha version of smoking. And by the way, I'm not trying to say that I'm immune to this kind of stuff or anything. My relationship with Twitter, for example, was like that between a smoker and cigarettes at one point. I opened Twitter both when I was stressed to feel better and when I was happy to celebrate. And to this day, I'm still not perfectly free from it, though I did make some pretty good progress. As I've said before, I didn't find shorts appealing, but then I thought, what if YouTube shorts are like drugs? They seem unappealing at first, but then you try them and before you know it, you're addicted. I decided to test that theory by trying to scroll through YouTube Shorts, and it went about as expected. Firstly, for some reason, like half the videos on my feed were cat videos, which isn't too bad because I do like cats, and who doesn't? But they don't make up anywhere near half of my watch history or liked videos, so I still found it a bit weird. Other than that, I didn't really enjoy most of the shorts the YouTube algorithm fed me. Hell, I didn't even bother watching most of them through. It's not that they were poorly made or my attention span was too short, it's just that I wasn't in the mood to watch the stuff YouTube was showing me on that day. So a few shorts in, I just asked myself, why am I even doing this? Why am I sitting here scrolling and waiting for the YouTube algorithm to show me something I'll like, when I could just, go watch something I already know I will most probably like, or even just watch the videos in my watch later? Apparently, the fact that Shorts and TikTok don't always show really good videos is actually one of the main reasons why people do find them addictive, because of this thing called intermittent reinforcement. But to me, it just seems like an inefficient use of my time. I know that when you're watching a movie, for example, you aren't constantly experiencing highs either, but at the very least you know that even the most boring scenes help build towards and contribute to the enjoyment of the good scenes. So they don't feel like a complete waste of time, because you know that you probably would not have appreciated that epic fight scene as much if you didn't listen to the dialogue to understand the context and the stakes. Meanwhile, with shorts, you could have very well not spent time scrolling through the boring ones in order to fully enjoy the good ones. Now, I do know that on many platforms you have to do a bit of searching to find the right content, but the thing with shorts is that the searching process isn't fun at all, since whether or not you'll actually find a good video depends entirely on the YouTube algorithm and not your research skills. So to me, scrolling through shorts kind of feels like the equivalent of using bogus sort to sort data. And I think it's kind of ironic how I found the shorts format much less addictive than the regular social media like Reddit or Twitter, which are generally considered slightly less addictive. But I do see why this is for me, because you see, when you're scrolling through Reddit, for example, you might want to stop, but then you see a portion of the next post near the bottom of your screen. And if you want to see the rest of it, you scroll down, and after you've looked at it, you see the top half of the next post and scroll down, and so on and so forth. This doesn't happen with YouTube Shorts because each video takes up the whole screen, so I was able to stop scrolling very easily, which I guess is a good thing. Now, after hearing all this, you might say, well, if you don't like shorts so much, then just don't watch them. And you won't be wrong to say that, and that's what I'm already doing. But even if you're like me and you don't watch shorts, they still pose some problems, the first one being that people still make them. What I mean is that sometimes when I search for something on YouTube, the only relevant results I get are shorts, and I have no choice but to watch them. If the shorts format didn't exist, they would have been uploaded as normal videos, and even if they were still short and vertical, they wouldn't have had all the other issues like the lack of a full screen option. And while many YouTubers do have long versions of some of their shorts, a lot of shorts are still standalone videos, which might have been regular, even horizontal ones, if the TikTok format never escaped its containment zone. The second problem I had with shorts is that if I wanted to continue being a YouTuber, I'd need to adapt, and with how popular shorts have gotten, if I want to compete like I used to, I'd have to make them, but it's not something I enjoy doing. Aside from the fact that vertical videos are less convenient to edit because computer screens are horizontal, as I've said, it's also hard to pack everything you want to show into 60 seconds or less. And because people usually discover shorts from the shorts feed, you can't catch their attention with a good thumbnail or title. So you have to try and grab their attention within the first few seconds of the short, which is usually done by restating the title of the short itself, and that shaves another couple seconds from the usable video length. So in a way, creating YouTube Shorts feels more like creating ads as opposed to short films or news reports, which is what most of my old videos are, and while I guess some people do enjoy creating ads, it's not really for me. Another problem is that the key to success in any business is understanding your customer, and that goes for YouTube Shorts as well. And if I struggle to understand why people find shorts addicting, I'll have a much harder time making good shorts, which would of course put me at a disadvantage compared to other YouTubers. Luckily though, it seems like shorts aren't really the meta anymore, for good reasons, and more people seem to be realizing this. MatPat talked about some of the reasons in his video about YouTube Shorts, and in case you haven't seen it, it's mostly because they don't translate into long-form viewers or fans, and simply make very little money. So I guess this part of the video is a bit outdated, but it does reflect how I felt 1 or 2 years ago. Anyways, the third major problem I have with TikTok and short-form content in general is that it lowered the bar to becoming popular by a lot. Like, I watched people who only put a tiny fraction of the effort I put into growing my channel before shorts were a thing get thousands of subs within months simply by posting random low-effort videos. The same goes for other sites too. It's become much easier to go viral in general, which is why I don't really consider YouTubers who gain their following from shorts as real off YouTubers as those who grew by uploading long-form videos. And while I do know that shorts views and subscribers gained from them are nowhere as valuable as the ones gained from long-form views, most people only look at the numbers. And again, you might say that numbers don't matter, and I do agree. But aside from a way to share my creations and meet new people, I also saw YouTube as a game of sorts, with sub counts and likes being the score counters, so to speak. I know this probably wasn't a good mindset, but at the time I felt like I was playing an online game, and the bar to obtain the highest rank, which I've already obtained, got lowered because of a new OP class, but one that I hated playing as because it wasn't fun. Nowadays though, I've sort of accepted the fact that my videos probably won't reach as many people as I may want, but at the same time, there are still a few videos I want to make before I quit, mostly because I'm actually interested in the topics those videos are going to be about. If they get views, great. If they don't, I wouldn't really mind it because, hey, at least I had fun making them. I spend about an hour a day working on YouTube videos these days, so even if I don't make that much money from them, it's not a big deal anymore since I have time to do other stuff. And again, YouTube Shorts aren't as OP anymore, and as many YouTube gurus are pointing out, Shorts tend to do more harm than good to channels, but the damage has already been done. The fourth issue I have with Shorts isn't really an inherent problem with short-form content specifically, and could easily be fixed without compromising the essence of Shorts, and it's that they look bad on your profile. You see, you can't set thumbnails for shorts, and instead a random frame gets picked as the thumbnail. And while you can get kinda lucky sometimes, like I got with this short, most of the time it's just something completely random, which makes the shorts tab look ugly compared to the main videos tab. This really is yet another nail in the coffin of highly customizable user profiles, like the ones MySpace and YouTube used to have. And despite being less customizable than they were in the past, YouTube pages still somewhat resemble personal web pages with all the thumbnails and titles and the banner. TikTok, meanwhile, doesn't even let you set a banner, which is a basic feature on most social media sites, let alone custom thumbnails for videos. And for some reason, when YouTube chose to copy their format, they didn't bother improving on what TikTok was lacking in. Speaking of customizable profiles, I know that one problem with them is that some people are just awful graphic designers and add stuff like dark red text on a black background. But I still think profiles ought to be more customizable because the free market would sort that problem out, as people with bad profile designs will be forced to either deal with complaints and low profile visits or change their design. I could make a separate video on this, but for now you can check out Randy Moon's video on the topic, which I think is pretty good. Now, as shown by all the videos and posts complaining about TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and short-form content in general, it's clear that I'm not the only one who feels this way. Sure, everyone has slightly different reasons why they dislike shorts, but from looking at posts on different sites, I could tell that people either dislike short-form content and don't watch it, or are addicted to it. Now, it could be that the people who do enjoy watching shorts don't go around making posts about how much they love watching them, because there's not really a point in saying that when most other people also watch them. But then again, it's not uncommon for people on the internet to identify as anime fans or gamers, at least before the word gamer became kind of a meme because of all the mostly ironic Gamers Rise Up memes. Yet, I've never seen anyone identify as a TikTok fan or a YouTube Shorts enthusiast. If anything, everyone who posts something about watching Shorts or TikTok also talks about how they're addicted to it and want to stop. So it seems like compared to regular entertainments like movies and video games, which while can be addicting are generally fine when consumed in moderation, Shorts are slightly more similar to traditional addictions like smoking or drugs that offer the addict nothing of value other than a quick dopamine hit. But here's the thing. What if I'm saying all this because I'm biased, since I didn't get to benefit from the rise of Shorts? Would I still have developed these views if my channel had blown up because of Shorts? It's pretty hard to answer that question since I've never actually experienced having a viral short, so I asked some of my Discord friends, all of whom had viral shorts on their channels, whether or not they thought that YouTube Shorts have had a more positive or negative impact on the platform. The first person I asked, SzaSzabi, actually said that their impact was 100% positive. When I asked why, he mostly answered from a YouTuber's point of view, saying that aside from creating a lot of opportunities, it was actually more fair than long-form videos, because apparently with Shorts, the quality of the video is more important than how many subs you have, which he said isn't really the case with long-form videos. I then asked him what he thinks from a viewer's perspective, and interestingly enough, he said that he actually enjoys watching them. I then asked Antuber, and part of his response was pretty similar to SzaSzabi's, as he said that Shorts gave a lot of people jobs, but at the same time he also said that it's, quote, mostly dumb and overall caused a more negative impact on long-form creators. I also asked Timeworks' opinion, and here's what he had to say.
What's up, Timeworks here. I think that YouTube Shorts are a positive impact on the platform. So I say that because Shorts allow creators another mean to, grow on the platform. And there's like features to redirect to new videos and stuff. It's very useful. Some shorts blow up like crazy. And it does convert a lot of people to subscribers and new viewers to view your other content. Now, of course, there's like some negatives, I guess. There's always the argument of attention span being lower, which, I guess that's a thing. But I feel like it has gotten a bit better over time as, YouTube has adjusted to Shorts nowadays. It's a lot better. Content that wastes your time or is done way too quickly and hurts your head after you watch too much, that's sort of gone away because of, how YouTube prioritizes videos that people actually want to watch, So that's cool. The other thing is that I've seen an example of like Mr. Beast videos like 4 years ago would be some crazy ideas, but those can now be shorts now. And if you go through Mr. Beast's like shorts, some of them are really crazy ideas that would have been a full-length video but is now a short. So does that mean that since creators are now doing such big content like in one short, does it mean that it'll take away from when other creators who don't maybe have the budget or production quality to do that in only a short, does that take away? And I don't think it does. So even though Mr. Beast does some crazy things in shorts, stuff like that could still be long form content for other channels. And to me it comes down to personality, because if I were to I gotta think I don't know, my view is that sure, like Mr. Beast did a video where he put 100 million Orbeez into a pool. Nowadays, that could probably be its own short on his channel. But if I were to do that, or even shorter, like if I were to do 1 million Orbeez instead of 100 million, that could still be a long form video for me, because it's about the person presenting it in the video. It doesn't mean that it has to be even though the stakes are lower or the video is lower quality, this goes for any creator. It's just down to the personality. People are there for you instead of the content sometimes. So I think shorts are mostly just positive because it's always a new way to grow and expand your channel on YouTube. So it's good. I like shorts.
Anyways, when discussing the negative impact of short-form content, we all like to blame TikTok, but I've also thought about how you can't really blame any specific platform or individual for the whole thing. For example, Vine is generally considered to be the first platform made specifically for short-form content. Though even before that, you could watch short videos on other sites, including YouTube. There was also Musical.ly, which was later bought by ByteDance and turned into the TikTok we all know and hate. So it's hard to place the blame on just one platform. And even if the people who developed Vine and Musical.ly and others never came together to make those apps, who's to say that others wouldn't have eventually made similar apps, given the addictive nature of short-form content? Because where there's demand, there will always be supply. This brings me to the dilemma. If you know that something which is harmful for society will inevitably be invented, should you take the chance to invent it yourself first, because if you don't, someone else will still do it and take all the profit? It seems like the pioneers of social media answered yes. Although there is a chance that the creators of Vine, Musical.ly and others may not even have known that their apps will do so much harm to society. So again, we could blame the people who worked on those apps, but if we were in their shoes at that time, how many of us wouldn't have done the same? I wonder if those people are feeling like Oppenheimer right now. Apparently the inventor of infinite scrolling does, just like the guy who invented pop-up ads, and quite a few other inventors. So now the question is, what can we do about this? Is there anything we could do to counter the damage done by short-form content? Obviously, I don't think banning it is the solution. That'd be too tyrannical, not to mention pretty hard to enforce. But what we could do is start with ourselves. First, if you yourself are addicted to scrolling through shorts, you could work on recovering from the addiction. I know it's pretty hard, but I'm not saying you should quit entertainment altogether. For starters, maybe just replace shorts with long-form videos or anything that doesn't reduce your attention span to 15 seconds, and then work from there. I also recently saw this video about enjoying games again, and the main point there was that a lot of people nowadays can't enjoy video games because they lack the discipline for it, because they're too used to the instantly gratifying short-form content. And it's kinda crazy to think that a hobby which until fairly recently was seen as lazy and unproductive, and still kinda is now too difficult for many people to enjoy, all because of overstimulation. And again, I'm not trying to say that I'm any better or anything. I remember how in between matches and online games, which were already highly stimulating, I'd check social media when I could have just rested my eyes or something. Nowadays though, if I'm bored in between matches, I just try to sketch out the lobby on a piece of paper, which I think is a much better use of my time. Anyways, I don't want to turn this into a productivity advice video, so if you need help, you could just go to r/getdisciplined or some other similar forum and look for resources, book suggestions and stuff like that there. And if your friends are struggling with the same addiction, you could start by explaining the dangers of short-form content to them, and then let them decide whether to quit or reduce their consumption of shorts or not, and then help them do it if they decide to quit. Other than that, I really want to hear what you guys think, whether you agree with me or not, or if you like or dislike shorts for entirely different reasons. Share your thoughts in the comments. I know this was a pretty long and somewhat unstructured video, but the main reason I made it was to share some of my thoughts and actually hear what others think. Now, if you made it this far, you might think that the popularity of short-form content is the biggest issue I think the internet is facing right now. But oh boy, it's not even close. You probably know what it is, but I'll talk about it in a future video.